Imagine an economy where everything just feels stuck. Prices are going up quickly, making your money buy less, but at the same time, businesses are struggling and people are losing their jobs. It seems counterintuitive, doesn't it? Normally, we expect high prices when demand is strong and jobs are plentiful. But what if both inflation and unemployment surge at the same time? Well, this challenging scenario became a stark reality in the 1970s, largely due to a series of sudden and significant oil shocks. These events dramatically increased the cost of a fundamental resource, leading directly to a phenomenon economists call stagflation, a period characterized by simultaneous high inflation and economic stagnation, or even recession. The core mechanism is quite straightforward when we break it down. When the price of oil, a critical input for nearly all production and transportation, suddenly and sharply increases, businesses face much higher operating costs. Picture factories paying more for energy and companies paying more to transport their goods to market. They then have two main options: either absorb these higher costs, which eats into their profits, or pass them on to consumers through higher prices for their products. In the 1970s, with such a drastic increase in oil prices orchestrated by the Organization of the Petroleum Exporting Countries, or OPEC, particularly following the Arab oil embargo in 1973 and later events, businesses widely chose to pass on these costs. This directly fueled widespread inflation. At the same time, these higher costs also made production less profitable and reduced overall economic activity. Businesses produced less, invested less, and critically, hired fewer people or even laid off existing workers. This led to rising unemployment and slower economic growth, or stagnation. The central bank faced an impossible dilemma. Raising interest rates to fight inflation would further slow the economy and increase unemployment. Lowering rates to stimulate growth would only exacerbate inflation. It was a vicious cycle where traditional economic tools seemed powerless. So, how does this information help us understand economic events? When observing an economy, it is crucial to recognize whether price increases are primarily driven by strong demand, which usually comes with job growth, or by supply-side factors like sudden increases in input costs. Identifying the source of the inflation can help us anticipate potential outcomes. A demand-driven inflation often responds well to monetary tightening, but a supply shock like the one caused by oil price hikes requires a different approach, often involving structural changes or managing expectations. This period was particularly disruptive because it challenged the prevailing economic wisdom of the time, especially the Phillips curve, which suggested a stable inverse relationship between inflation and unemployment. The 1970s showed that both could rise simultaneously. It introduced the concept of a negative supply shock as a powerful force. This type of shock drastically shifts the economy's aggregate supply curve inward, meaning less output is available at any given price level, which is a key distinction from purely demand-driven economic fluctuations. Understanding how the oil shocks of the 1970s triggered stagflation offers invaluable insight into the complex and often unpredictable nature of economic systems. It highlights how external geopolitical events and disruptions to critical resource supplies can dramatically alter the economic landscape, forcing policymakers to grapple with unprecedented challenges and reassess conventional economic models. This historical lesson underscores the importance of resilient supply chains and the profound impact of energy security on global economic stability and prosperity.